Good morning, YouTube family. Good afternoon and good evening, wherever you might be. This is Escape from Crazy Town. So glad to have escaped and so glad to have you guys here. This is Happy Crappy Hour. Oh, my gloves are kind of weird. They pinched together. This might have been the best ones. Sorry, guys. I'm just putting on my gloves, my little cooking gloves for today. Um, yeah, today's topic comes from several comments I've read of, people freshly coming off of a relationship with a narcissist. And what happens there is, when you freshly come off of a relationship with a narcissist, you're still in a whirlwind of lies and fiction that you've been living in for a long time. So it's really hard to get a grasp of what reality is anymore and what you're really seeing. And of course, as you know, the narcissist moves on super quickly with another supply because they cannot go very long by themselves. Except for the introvert, covert narcissist. They seem to go by themselves for a while, but what they're really doing is getting their supply from places that none of us are aware of, right? They have secret relationships. Yeah, they go out and get drunk and sleep around with, one night stands, and they don't report that to you. So of course you don't know that they're a narcissist. You think, well, how is it that they're able to be by themselves? They're not by themselves. They're always with somebody, getting their ego pet, their little fix. So just want to let you know that today we're going to talk about what this big fiction novel that they're writing about their story that you're falling for. You still believe that they're getting along great without you and that you're missing out, and that this new supply is living this beautiful life that you were supposed to live. So we're going to kind of dismantle that today as we cook. And good to see you guys hopping on. John and Mark, good to see you. Says from Kenya. Oh, nice. Good to see you. Good evening. Oh, so it's evening there? Oh, wow. Yeah, it's morning here where I am, or kind of, yeah, morning to almost mid-morning. Anyway, we're going to be making French toast today. It's, I was not going to make anything elaborate, and it's very simple. It's something that I learned to do, which works really well. We enjoy it. And I always use this type of loaf of bread, which is so wonderful. I get it from, if you guys have a Sam's Club is great. Okay, I'm going to start moving things off of here because we're going to start putting things together. But yeah, in your experience, when you have come off of a toxic relationship, you tend to think that, sorry, my stool is making a lot of noise. You tend to think that the other person is doing so much better than you are. And if you keep watching them, you're going to fall backwards. It's going to take you longer to recover. All right, you guys, I'm going to grab a cup of coffee. So you guys grab a cup as well, and we'll meet up in a second. Actually, I think I'm going to have a cup of water first. Alrighty. All right. I'm going to try to pull you guys up here so I can see who is on and I can watch the comments as you come up. Okay, oh, here we go. Let me see if I can make this bigger. And if the comments will come up. Well, welcome you guys. I'm so glad to see you coming on. I hope you're doing well during this isolation time. Are you guys being isolated or made to stay home in Kenya as well, Mark? Or, I mean, how is it hitting you guys out there? The pandemic, the virus, what's going on in Kenya? I'm not really hearing a whole lot. I don't pay super close attention to the news anymore because it's so depressing. Yeah, just let me know how things are going for you guys. Okay, I'm moving the trash over a little bit so it's more accessible. Oh, what happened here? Oh, here we go. Free Spirit, good to see you. And Still Prill, good to see you. Oh, first time here, good to see you. I'm so glad you're here. And let me see where we are. Yeah, it's evening in Kenya. Well, I'm glad you're joining us. I'm going to start. Okay, I gotta find a knife to cut this bread. You know, I've been using a bread knife for a while to cut bread, and then what I notice is the bread knife tends to make a lot of crumbs. So I've gone back to just a really simple bladed knife, and I like to make my French toast rather thick, like that. So this is what I start doing for French toast, and I like to have it set outside. Sometimes I set it out. If you have super fresh bread, you may want to cut it the night before and set it out to dry. Now, of course, it depends on whether it's humid where you are, but generally overnight is good to get this dry enough. I'm going to cut this little end off. I don't typically use the end, but here we go. So I just set these out, and I don't know if you can see that, but we're going to let them dry out while I make some bacon, because I like bacon with my French toast. All right, here we go. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I guess I can see that you do see this. This is excellent. All right, I'm going to get this pack of bacon out. I'm going to start putting some of this on. I really love wearing gloves now when I cook, because I can actually touch some of the heated stuff and it doesn't burn my fingers. Yeah. Wow. So, you know, I got a comment recently from a viewer who is convinced that the new supply is loving their time with the narcissist. And I got to tell you, there's a little bit of truth to that. Actually, not a little bit of truth. There's a lot of truth to that, because think about how happy you were when you first got together with your narcissist, right? I mean, it was a whirlwind romance, right? Or if it wasn't a whirlwind romance, it was probably, well, it's kind of hard to see it not being a whirlwind romance, but there are cases where it's, you know, codependent type of relationship, and you felt a connection with the narcissist, because, you know, as they are always, let me see if I can fit anymore. I might not. I'll wait till that goes down a bit. So you start off needing each other, and you're there for each other, because the narcissist, of course, is coming off of something, and they need supply as well. So they behave like, wow, this is an amazing, let me see if I can turn that down a little bit. They behave as though, you know, they're the best thing that's ever come into your life. So, of course, at the beginning, you think, or anybody who was watching you, okay, you guys, the reason I cut this is because it curls up. When the fat curls up, it doesn't get cooked, and I like the fat part to be cooked, or at least, you know, somewhat. I like it crispy. See how it's already curling up right there? That's why I'm cutting this. You got to cut the very end. Come on, you. There you are. This guy too. This is what wearing these gloves, man. This helps. Not 100% heat resistant or anything, but it gives you enough of a barrier. Can I get this guy here? No. Oh, by the way, kitchen scissors. One of my most favorite tools in the kitchen. I have about, I want to say, 5 pairs of scissors in the kitchen that I keep in their own little box in the drawer. And that way, when I use scissors of the day, I throw them in the dishwasher, and then, you know, use the next pair. All right. Put this aside. Get that going. Get out some tongs. All right. Might start flipping these over. All right, I'm going to put a few things out. You know, so my concern for people who are watching the narcissist, and this is why it's so important to go no contact and stop looking, right? Stop watching what the narcissist is doing, because they're putting on a big show for you and anybody who's watching. because they want to prove to everybody that they don't need you, for one, that you were the problem, not them. That's point 2. And point 3, that they're as wonderful as everybody thinks they are, because that's how they were able to get a new love of their life right away. So apparently people love them, is what they want to prove to you and everybody who's watching. So if everybody loves them, they must not be the problem. So the new supply is there to make them look good, to make them look like a hot commodity, right? Like everybody wants to be with them. You guys want to flip it over. I like my bacon not too crispy. My husband loves it crispy. I like it a little bit chewy. So we kind of, sometimes I cook a few extra crispy for him and a few not as crispy for myself. And here we go. Yeah, they're looking good. See how flat now they're lying? Otherwise, it would be all waved up and you won't be able to cook the fat. And to me, I really don't care for the raw fat on a bacon. And to cook it all the way through, a lot of times you overcook the meat part. And that's not pleasant either for me. Okay, so that is going. We're going to move these guys over a little bit so we have some space to crack eggs. Yeah, I'm going to check on your comments here and see what you guys are saying. All right, let me see. Oh, night curfew. Okay, in Kenya, and the narcissists are starved off their supplies. Yes, exactly. I did a video earlier that this stay-at-home order or isolation is making the narcissists go crazy because they're not getting as much supply as they usually do. They're not able to go out to their usual stomping grounds, right? Their usual haunts, the bars or the wherever they go, right? Clubs to hook up with people and or find new supply. They're not able to go do that, and especially find drunk supply, which is a big deal for them because a lot of times you have to be off your game. You can't be too sharp in order to fall for the narcissist. Oh, come on, dude. This guy's not flipping over for me. I gotta cut him a little bit more. Yeah, they curl. Yep. And then when they do that, this just doesn't cook. Yeah. Some bacon you gotta cut more than others. I've had some where I only need to make 1 or 2 cuts. Depends on how much fat is on there. Here you go. Yeah, so this isolation I had mentioned before may cause them to call you because they're not getting enough supply. They're going to revisit old supply and, tell you that they're just checking up on you because they're concerned or whatever, which is normal, right? Like other people who are healthy are going to check up on you. I'm going to put some more on here. Ooh, look at that. See if I can move any. And this be moved? Let's see. Might be pushing it here. Trying to put another piece on. Okay, I've got one last slice. Let me see what I can do. I may have to, oh, you know what? I have an idea. Move you this way. Maybe you this way. Nah, we'll see. I could have, oops, there goes the bacon wrapper. There we go. Maybe, there we go. Yeah. So, oh, I'm gonna get a plate ready for this. Ah! Oh my God, he's licking the bacon wrapper. Okay, I'm gonna put this here. Nope, I think that's not gonna fit, so we're gonna put this over here. And napkins. Paper towels. So I'm just getting, this plate ready, with paper towels for the bacon. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So Still Pro says you're supposed to stay home and social distance and all that. Yeah. Good morning, Jihad. Good to see you. Free Spirit says, I hope so. You will be amazed at the nutritional comparisons. Ah, moringa. Okay, I have to look that up. No, I did not look that up. My Narc is trapped indoors with its Narc family, but I'm used to isolation. Oh. Oh, my hands are kind of greasy. I know. Still says, I'm still married to mine. We have a daughter. He is home all day, but still busy with his work. He is back to Mr. Nice Guy for now, as long as I don't expect too much. Wow, I'm surprised. I am really surprised. I'm really glad, though, that he is back to Mr. Nice Guy. But like you said, so long as you don't expect too much. And, ooh, see, this is how I like it. So perfect. So beautiful. Oh, I might flip this guy over a little bit for my husband because he likes them crispy. Put that over there. Like this one. This one. Cut these little swirly, curvy spots so they lay a little more flat. Okay, there you go. Don't be afraid to use scissors in the kitchen, you guys. That's one of the best kitchen tools there are. Okay. Okay. Or there is. I gotta work on my grammar for the grammar police. All right, you guys. This is looking good. I'm gonna turn this down a little bit more. Look at this bacon. It's just perfect. Look at how beautiful that looks. Yeah. All right. So, you know, yeah, so I'm watching the comments or reading comments where people are just so devastated by the narcissist. And now that the narcissist has moved on with a new supply, they look like they're living the dream. You know, they're doing everything that you were supposed to have done with the narcissist. And I recently watched this crime show. I mean, I've seen it before, but it came up in my feed again recently. And it was about this guy who looked like a typical family man, like very clean cut looking, you know, sharp haircut, very, I don't know, vanilla, I guess, you know, seems like he was married to his high school sweetheart and they had 3 kids together, I think, 2 or 3. And he owned like some chain restaurants, right? And made a lot of money. So they lived pretty comfortably, very happily. And the daughter was being interviewed in the show. And she says how, you know, she kind of exaggerates like how wonderful of a dad he was, right? But you got to question because, all right, he did divorce his wife and then he went absolutely hog crazy wild with his life. He marries a stripper. So I'm thinking, okay, you guys, you know, how wonderful of a dad was this guy or husband was this guy? You know, maybe he started going to strip clubs after his divorce, but I kind of doubt that. I think he hit his midlife crisis and he felt like he was missing out. And, you know, the heck with family, the heck with your kids, the heck with the wife that you know had been there with you all these years, the heck with your life. You want to go with somebody else who makes you feel great all the time. Now, understand that the other person that the narcissist finds is not great 100% of the time. They're just wild and excited. You know, they just make life exciting, right? And a lot of times it's the mistress, or I don't even know what you call the guy, who's the other man, right? I don't know what you call that. Because there's mistress and then there's nothing for the other man, whatever he's called. But when somebody runs off with the mistress or with the other man, usually it's just a fantasy. They're living out a fantasy for a while. They're just enjoying and having the best time, and they're doing things they wouldn't normally do or have never done. And it looks like they're just living this amazing, fantastic dream world life. Let me get something for the grease. All right, so I love bacon grease. I saved bacon grease. I'm gonna pour it over here. Okay, and it's okay to have a bit of baking bits in there. My husband loves that. Just gonna put this over here for now. So, and butter. I'm gonna need some butter. Love butter. All right. So yeah, they go on and it looks like they're living this amazing, fantastic, beautiful life, and you're missing out. And this new supply is getting the best of the narcissist. And I'm wondering if the wife felt that way at first when her narcissistic husband took off. And okay, so now he's with a stripper, does, I don't know, buys a motorcycle, lives like he's 20 years old. I think the stripper was half his age. And long story short, the stripper kills him, right? Shoots him. And it's all on video. It's insane. I mean, they don't show it on the show, but it's all on video because he has his whole house hooked up to cameras. And oh my gosh, you can see, hold on you guys, I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to crack the eggs all right into here. I like something flat enough that this can actually soak all the way in, but I'm wondering if this will do. Yeah, I think it will. All right, let's do this. Let's crack it right into there. Or you know what? Actually, I have a better one. A better bowl for that. I'm gonna put these back in so it doesn't roll. I'm gonna use this bowl right here. So yeah, you know, so he's doing drugs. He's right, you know, he gets all these ridiculous tattoos. I'm sorry if you have tattoos, you know, I'm not saying that's ridiculous, but you know, he's pretending to be something he's not. That's what's ridiculous to me. And he wants to be this wild child, crazy, you know, whatever person. But here's the deal. The wife comes on and says, the ex-wife, I'm sorry, comes on and acts as if he was just this wonderful, perfect, beautiful man. Was never, let me see if I can, was never violent with her, didn't yell at her, whatever it was. You know, she acts as if he was this really great guy, which I'm thinking, I kind of don't think he was that great of a guy if he was going to strip clubs on you and he was, well, he divorces you for a stripper, you know, and goes absolutely nuts, starts drinking like crazy. They have friends, right? The new wife, so the new supply, and the narcissist have friends that stayed with them for a while, and so those friends were being interviewed, and they were saying how that couple would wake up in the morning and start drinking, like right away. That was their breakfast, and by noon they were on to like their third bottle or something. It's just insane. So, you know, and how their fights just got so crazy and out of control. And you know, and here's the ex-wife saying, oh, he was never that way with me. Right. Okay, I mean, it's possible. It's possible. I kind of doubt it, but it's possible. And then, you know, and it's possible that the drugs and the alcohol changed him a lot. But the thing is, you know, I've heard this said once before, and I believe it's true. Alcohol doesn't change you. It just brings out what was already inside of you. And I kind of think the same thing with, well, I don't know if it's the same with drugs, but when you put your inhibitions down, which is what alcohol does, it reduces your inhibitions, the real you comes out. So either you're a jerk or you're this actually very happy person. Anyway, so what I'm trying to say here about this story is that this new supply, for those looking from the outside, would have appeared as if she was having this wonderful, amazing life with him. So this wonderful, amazing life with him is actually exposed for what it really is through the cameras, because the cameras show him beating her, like grabbing her by the hair and throwing her down to the ground, and dragging her to their swimming pool one time out in the backyard. And it may have happened more than one time, but they showed this one instance. Hold on, you guys. And dragging her out to the pool and throwing, pushing her into the pool fully clothed because he's angry. And oh my gosh. And here's the deal with the new supply. The new supply, of course, at first appears to be like everything the narcissist has ever wanted. So much fun, so exciting, so sexy. And what we learn is that she was just very naggy, annoying, not just annoying, but just the B word, you guys, So that's it, you guys. You see that? I just did some eggs, a bit of milk, get it to about this consistency. I wouldn't go very liquidy, because you don't want your French toast you want it to be nice and firm. All right, put this here. Turn this down a little bit, swish the pan around. Oh, I love this. Love it, love it. Probably don't need to turn that on quite yet. I'm gonna put this in here to soak. Yeah, so, on the outside, you're thinking, oh, this new supply is giving him everything he never had with his plain Jane wife, who wasn't terribly plain Jane. She was the love of his life, right? From the time they were teenagers, and they had kids together, and they built this business together and this life together, which looked on the outside to be perfect, but obviously he's not happy with that. He wants excitement, so he marries this stripper, runs off with her, and even, I'm sorry, but there's details in there, like the stripper was sending the teenage daughter, pictures of her performing sex acts on the dad. Like, what daughter wants to see that? That's so disgusting. But, that's how absolutely nuts this all is. And then, of course, the daughter says, oh, she seemed like so much fun at first. Okay, she's a stripper. And now this guy is exposing his daughter to the stripper life. I'm not saying stripper people are terrible, horrible people, but the lifestyle, the life itself is not something you want to expose your children to, make it look exciting or romantic in some way. That's not something you want to entice your children with. And yet he exposes this lifestyle to his daughter, and the stripper girl, of course, does too. That's why I'm looking at this going, everything that the daughter and the mother say, as people who are looking back and missing him, right? They become nostalgic about, oh, the good times they had with the narcissist and the times he was good to them. And they think that was the real him and the only him. And this other side of him was only because of the stripper. And I'm like, no, this was always inside of him. This is why he left the family. This is why he focused on only himself. This is why he felt entitled to beat up the stripper. He had no respect for her, obviously, right? And this lifestyle that he jumped into with the stripper. Now, I don't know who exposed whom to that lifestyle. Maybe they both went in very willingly. Maybe, anyway, that's the lifestyle I'm telling you is not worth it, okay? On the outside, it looks like a big old party, which is what the daughter is saying. Like, she was so much fun. It seemed like a big old party, 24/7, right? But the reality showing on the video was that he would beat her. She would nag him. It was a horrible nightmare inside of their house. And even the friends couldn't take it anymore. They're like, that's enough. We cannot handle being around this amount of friction, negativity, violence, just horrid lifestyle. Even though the friends were into that lifestyle a bit, they were not out of control in it, and they were not allowing it to change them into these horrible monsters. So for us who are looking on the outside, and we're, I'm not saying that all of our ex-narcissists are living like this and behaving like this to this extent, but I'm saying that it is not what it appears on the outside. Because on the outside, they're going to act like, look at me, I'm having a great time. This is the life that I deserve and I've always wanted and I never could have with you. So I'm having it with this other person. Okay, you guys, let me see if it's time to flip these. Ooh, not quite, but they're beautiful. Okay, so I think I went this way. Put one more in the middle. Yeah. And if it's any consolation, just know that, well, here's the deal. The truth of the matter is that you know what the narcissist is like. You've been with the narcissist. You've seen their selfish side. You know they're not the best partner, right? You know they're not caring and sympathetic and considerate. Or if they were, it was to get something from you, or they were for a moment and they expected a lifetime of repayment, right? If they were good to you for a bit, they want you to continually repay them for the rest of their life. And that you owe them. Everybody owes them everything, but they don't owe anybody else anything. So you know this is their attitude. You know this is how they behave and how they think. So when you look over, and I don't recommend looking, that's why, because what you're going to see is, first of all, fake. Second of all, going to bum you out. It's going to make you feel miserable because you're going to think, oh wait, is that, nope, that's the newer one. So I'm going to flip that back. I think this is the older one. Yep, there we go. Look at how beautiful that is looking. So this is a bit of bacon grease and some butter is what I'm cooking it in. And I don't do anything else with it. I know some people do, what do you call it? Cinnamon or nutmeg, and you can do that. You can add sugar, you can do that. I just like it like this. And look at how fluffy they're getting. I love this. So beautiful. So I may do this, and then maybe some fried eggs and French toast. Oh, you know what? I had some frozen berries. I'm going to move this over. I'm going to maybe make a reduction of these frozen berries. Okay. So my berries got a little bit of frost on them, but it's all right. I'm going to stick them right in here. It's 2 different packs. I think it's blueberries and raspberries, and then some cherries. Dark cherries, which I think is going to be really nice in here. So I'm going to do a berry and maple syrup reduction thing, maybe not, whatever you call it, syrup to go with the French toast. Oh, this is probably burning. So, nope, not quite. So yay. All right. Looks, look at that. Doesn't that look wonderful? This is the French toast. Whoops, don't want to knock that over. And I think I'm just going to set it aside on a different burner. There we go. Or actually, I'm going to turn this burner on. Okay. Get my little spoon here, move some things around, warm that up. And look for my maple syrup. That's what I'm doing over here, you guys. So hold on a second. I try to find the maple syrup. Oh, there it is. I think this is probably very good and very done. Well, actually, I do need to cook those last two a little bit. Oops. I'm going to start taking some of these off the plate or off the pan. Oh no, they're doing great. They don't want here. Not over. Ooh, look at how pretty. See, both sides. Just perfectly golden brown. Look at that. And these are the last two, so I'll leave that. Oops. Oh, look at that. Aren't they wonderful? Oh, I just flipped that. All right. Well, we definitely want them to cook all the way through to the inside. This one is going. I'm going to add some maple syrup to it. Ta-da! Look at that organic maple syrup. Put that right onto the berries. We're going to cook that up a little bit. And we'll put that straight onto our, turn that down a little bit, straight onto our French toast. Yeah. And as you can see this, it's just all these berries and the maple syrup. Isn't that beautiful? Now to that, if you want to do a little powdered sugar on here with a little cinnamon, you can do that. Cinnamon's probably not a bad idea actually, because that's a good thing for you. I'm gonna try this. Oh, that's so nice. Not too sweet. And it's healthy because of all these dark, beautiful berries. All right, time to take this off the pan. I'm gonna put these over here. Turn that off. And the thing with French toast, sadly, is that they do deflate. So they get all puffed up because of the egg, and then they start to deflate. So, if you want to, okay, I'm gonna leave this here. This is simmering. If you want to, you can put the French toast in a toaster oven to stay warm. It kind of keeps it inflated a little bit. Or throw them back on the pan for a moment right before you serve them, and that inflates them again for a little bit. I'm not going to bother because we're pretty used to having them deflate and they taste just as good. Okay, another reason why I like to make the slices a little bit thick so it doesn't look so flat. All right, now I'm going to do some fried eggs. Wait a minute. What is this? Oh, this is egg. Hold on, you guys. I'm trying to, oh, my bacon grease. That's what I'm looking for. So I'm going to do a little bacon grease. For my fried eggs. My husband loves that gristly bacon bits. So I'm going to grab some of that. All right. The funny thing is, you guys, even with all this cooking with grease and fat, we don't overeat. We enjoy good food, and neither of us is overweight. We're just, you know, you'd be surprised that we eat this way, is what I'm trying to say, if you were to see us. All right, let me get my butter. There it is. Oh, I had an idea. Oh no. I'm just going to use this. Since I have only a little bit left, I'm just going to use my spatula to slice through it. Get some. The reason I like to use butter is so the eggs don't stick to the pan. Even if you have these wonderful, amazing non-stick pans, you'll find that eggs will still stick to it. You don't want that. And I find that butter is amazing, an amazing non-stick agent. Yeah. So you guys, you know, you're looking over there and you're thinking, and again, don't look. That's the thing. Just know in your mind and picture it in your mind the junk, the crap that you went through with the narcissist, that's what's really going on, and possibly worse, most likely worse, because with each new supply, the narcissist gets worse. They do. They simply do. And as they age for a while, they get worse until they get to the point where they're too tired to be bad, you know? Oh, this is very watery. So what I'm going to do, oh, that tastes so good. Oh, that's very good. I'm going to add some cornstarch to thicken it up. And, okay, not starting the eggs just yet. I'm going to grab this. Okay. Oh, wait. I want to try it in here. Trying to not add more liquid. So maybe I will. What you want to do is mix the cornstarch in a liquid that's not boiling hot. And this right now is boiling hot. So I'm going to cool that down a little bit and then add the cornstarch to this. And then it'll thicken. So I'm going to add maybe that amount of cornstarch. Just mix it in until it dissolves. And the reason you don't want to add it to really, really hot liquid is because it'll cook and then become these little balls of powder that won't dissolve. And you don't want that floating around in your syrup or liquid of any kind. Okay. So I am adding a little bit of water to it. And so you see how I'm just mixing that? And then once we add it, it'll thicken the whole sauce. And that's just cornstarch. Okay. I'll just thicken all of the sauce here, which is going to be great. I'm going to get a little bit more out of there. So I want to get it all out of the bowl. Okay. So yummy. So very, very yummy. Okay. Let's see how that thickens. And if you need to add more cornstarch, do exactly the same thing and add more. Hoping that'll do the trick. If it doesn't, I may have to add more. Oh, looks like a blueberry that was picked too soon because it's still like green. All right. So you guys, let me see what you're going through here. Ah, hold on, you guys. I'm going to go down. Ooh, here we go. Missed some comments, so I'm just going to try to, oops, did the wrong one. Wrong space bar thing. Okay, here we go. Okay. Just reading the part where Obi says that hey Obi, by the way, his narc is trapped indoors with its narc family. Okay. Down a bit. Oh, I see how this is looking. Looking better. Yeah. Looking thicker, looking better. I may go ahead and add more cornstarch because I like my syrupy. All right. So let me do that. I mean, it is looking syrupy. I just like it a little bit thicker than that. So, yeah, I'm going to just do water and cornstarch. thing with cornstarch is, you know, normally what I would do is make a lot of cornstarch and then just add what I want to add. I don't necessarily pour all of it in, but just enough until I'm happy with the consistency. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, Steel Pro says when he is low on supply, he goes back to nice because he can't get negative supply from me anymore. Yes! Thank you, Steel Pro, for pointing that out, because that comes with boundaries. You know, when you don't react to their negativity, when you don't reward their bad behavior, that's putting up boundaries. That's setting boundaries and letting them know you're not going to play by their rules. You're not going to reward their bad behavior. And when you do that, they do change. They do alter their behavior. It has happened for me with the narcissists that are still in my life. They don't treat me badly anymore. They are quite positive when they're around me. Now I can't be around them all the time. Oh, this is looking much better. Much more syrupy now. Okay. Trying to decide whether I want to add any more than that. I might not. So let's see. Maybe just a little. Just a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to put this aside. All right. So yeah, when you have boundaries with a narcissist, they'll adjust, right? Because their goal is to get supply from you. And if you're not rewarding their negative behavior by giving them attention or getting into the fights they want to get into with you, you know, you just won't. You refuse to do that anymore. So they learn it just doesn't work with you. All right, you guys. I know that took a bit of time because I'm kind of going back and forth chit-chatting and checking comments. All right. I'm just going to make 2 eggs right now for my husband. Get this all nice and greasy. And here's my little compost container. My glove just stuck to the egg for some reason. All right, I think that's good. Uh-oh, got a little shell there. So if you don't know, if you get a little shell on that gets poured out or falls off onto your egg, use the shell of the egg to scoop it up. For some reason, that's the best way. And it is attracted almost like a magnet to its own shell, which is really cool. So if you didn't see it before, I mean, I don't have a shell on it right now, but what you end up doing is you just use this and you scoop up wherever, you know, you touch it, and that egg shell will come up. All right. Oh. Mike, good to see you. Let me see here. Don't smoke or drink anymore. Oh yeah, Obi says, I used to drink before I met my narc. I used to smoke and I like smoking but can't afford it anymore thanks to my narc. Well, that's a positive that came out of there. Yeah, you know, I'm so glad to hear that you guys are cutting out the drinking and, you know, the extra things that you don't need. I still have a drink from time to time because I enjoy it. And I've been making quarantinis, you guys. It's been awesome. And those are, I make my own syrup, simple syrups, and I infuse it with ginger, and then I make a lime vodka, you know, tonic with the infused simple syrup with garlic, not garlic, what am I saying, ginger, with ginger. It's wonderful. And I may make one of those for you guys sometime and show you what I do. Look at these these beautiful eggs. Oh, did I not add salt yet? Okay. Add a little pinch of salt. Whoop. Okay. I usually put my salt right into a bowl like that, which I love. It's a Himalayan pink salt. All right, guys. Here we go. See how this is just, and yes, it's the pan. You know, you might say it's the pan. But actually, in this pan, I have had stuff stick to it really badly. And then I read up that you're supposed to cook things on medium for it not to stick, because when it's on high, it tends to stick. But if you have butter, it won't stick. Yeah, look at that. So we like our eggs over medium. And that's what I'm going to do. I'll let that cook a little bit longer. And I love this. The foamy stuff is the butter. Good butter. All right. This Riss, good to see you, says, I am having a hard time because in my mind he is happier now with his new partner. He's driving a new truck and everything. He looks happy. Yeah. Hold on, you guys. I want to see. Yeah. Larissa Riss. It's never what it appears. It just isn't. I hope you caught the part when I was telling you guys about the stripper and that guy. And after enough abuse, the stripper ended up shooting him. All on camera. Of course, she was really high on drugs or alcohol at the time. It was just insane. Yeah, it's almost like they kind of have to be on drugs and alcohol in order to ignore reality, okay? They're ignoring reality in order to, oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to fluff one of these up for my husband. Let's do this guy. So, yeah. And I'm going to warm up some of this bacon for him as well. Whew, so good. Actually, don't really need to warm it up. It's pretty nice. I need to put it right there. I know you guys are like, oh my gosh, look at all that grease. So good. So good, people. Okay, give him 3 pieces of bacon. I'm going to give this a moment. Yeah. Warm that back up. I think it's pretty nice and warm over here by the stove, so that's fine. I'm just warming that up. So while that's going, you know, it is convincing. It looks like, oh, everything's new for them. They're doing new things. They've got a new truck or, you know, new house, going on vacation, whatever it is. Yeah, some of that's true. You know, they are going to try to change their life. They're trying to add things to their life they've never done before, never had. They're rewarding themselves. Ooh, this is hot. Turn that down. Turn it off. So, and I'm going to move this over. Add the syrup. Look at this syrup. It's looking really, really good now. I don't know if you can see that. So good. So that's my blueberry, raspberry, cherry syrup. I'm going to try to move the eggs over because I know it's probably better not to have that on the eggs. So this is what it's looking like now. I'm going to add the syrup to it. There we go. Oh, you know what I need is a good ladle. I guess I'll put this right here. So grab a little ladle for this. Yeah, this one. Just a small one. So yeah, this is why it's so important, Riss, not to look. Just imagine it in your head. The terrible stuff, okay? Even though you have no proof of it, you know, look at that. That's the syrup that I'm putting on here. I'm going to put a little bit over. There you go. And that's my husband's breakfast. I'm going to go give that to him. Can you see that all right, or is it too dark? Let me, oh, you know what happens? When I move my pans around, the lighting changes. So let me see if the lighting gets better when I do that, and you can see this a little better. So that's what it looks like. I don't know. Can you tell? Anyway, we are going to get, or here we go. Whoop, that's terrible. There we go. That's a little better. That's what the breakfast looks like. So I'm going to go get this to my husband, and I'll be right back. So he says, wow, that's beautiful, which is the reaction I am going for. I did not put whipped cream on it, but that's another thing you can do for yourself. You know what? Maybe I'll make myself a plate and I will show you that. I don't even know what, okay, we're on our hour here. Let me see. And for myself, I only need one egg. I don't, because there's so many other things that we're eating this morning. So put that in here. There's still butter and oil in there, so I don't need to add any more. Let me see. Yeah. Mike says, I quit smoking by prayer, patches, and those steps. Yeah, that's great. Okay. Innovation good. Hey, good to see you here. Says good cooker. Is that me? Thank you. Yeah. You know what? I may sit down with you guys and go through these comments after I make my plate. Ooh. So I'm going to do a little pepper, a little salt. And I really need to get better gloves that fit me, but sadly right now I cannot find any. So I ordered some online, which are not scheduled to get here until, I'm not even sure. I think it's the end of April or sometime in May. So if I'm still cooking, I'll have better gloves by then. That'll actually fit me. That is one tiny looking egg. Sometimes they come off looking like that. Woohoo! Look at that. All right, gotta turn it down. Or actually, I can just turn it off at this point. It's hot enough. And I'm gonna make my plate. Here. And ooh. There we go. Get one of these. Got a little syrup on this plate here. But here's the, oh, you know what? I could have eaten that little one, but that's all right. I'm going to get myself a nice size one. And I like my egg a little bit more cooked, so I'm going to leave it on a little bit longer. All that good stuff. So delicious. All right. And I'm going to put this over to the side. Actually, that kind of makes the lighting weird when I move the pan for some reason. Okay, I'm going to put my French toast on this side. I'm going to add the syrup. There you go. I'm just going to add the syrup right on top of my French toast. Don't need it going over the sides because I don't need that much syrup. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. See if you can see that. Yeah. So I'm going to have my coffee and we can chit chat a little bit more. I wanted to see what your comments are. Yeah, narcissists and childish minds go together. They do. And, you know, they don't, to them, image is a huge deal. And that's why they need to look like they're having the time of their life. They need to look like people love them. They need to look like they're a hot commodity. So if you're watching, this is what it's going to appear like to you. And it's going to make you miserable. It's going to make you think that you are missing out, that they are somehow living their best life without you. And, you know, they may try to live their life a bit. Bacon. Perfect. It is a little bit cold. And I can always warm it up. I'm thinking about that. I might just warm it up. All right. I'm gonna go into this. Look at this, French toast. Ah, beautiful. Beautiful. And give that a bite. Oh, so nice. And the berry syrup is so delightful. It's fresh, it's light, it tastes light. You know, there's maple syrup in there, but it tastes very light. And that touch of sweetness from the maple syrup is just right. Definitely would recommend this. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just watching some of the comments here. Yeah, not everyone we encounter are emotional predators or manipulators, but it sure does make us a little more wary, doesn't it, when we meet people? I know that I am. I've been a lot more wary, I guess, or what's the word? Not cynical, but I'm just cautious, you know, I really am. And the thing though is I can also be very happy and enjoy and actually enjoy a lot of people, different people that I meet. I don't have a hard time with that. I can be myself. I can be lighthearted and pleasant and joyful. I just don't share everything with them. That's what you learn. You learn you don't share everything with them. And they have to earn that. They have to be in your life, not just for a time, right? Because we know that covert narcissists can be in our life for multiple years. Sorry, you guys, you're staring at like this, my dirty pan stuff. Okay. And just because you know someone for multiple years doesn't mean they actually have earned your trust. You just haven't had your eyes opened yet, right, to their narcissistic ways. So you watch for that. Just watch if they're selfish, if they're caring, if they're actually there for you and not constantly picking at you or trying to take from you, or watching how they talk about other people as well. Do they put other people down behind their back? Because if they are, they're doing that to you too. You know, are they huge gossips? That's a really big sign as well. Sorry guys, I'm just eating over here. So, I'm glad to help Mike. So you guys, yeah, Mark says how there's a lot of gray areas, right? And you're right, there is a lot of gray area. And here's the deal. We're going to live with narcissists in our life, whether we like it or not, right? They're just people who are selfish. And sometimes it's just a maturity issue. Okay. Sometimes these people just need to grow up. And once they understand that the world does not revolve around them, they adjust and they become better people. And the thing is, it's so, we have to learn to still enjoy the people that are in our life and have a good time, that as we can, as good a time as we can with a narcissist. And I've done a video that talks about that. You can have a relationship with a narcissist. It's not going to be the dreamy riding into the sunset, growing old together type of dream. It's going to be, hey, we can run around and have a good time, go to the amusement parks, maybe even travel together, which I don't know, that's a possibility, but go to clubs together or go out to a nice dinner together and have fun conversation. And you can do that with a narcissist. Just be careful that you don't spill everything about your life to them, because whatever you tell them, they're going to tell other people. So good. Well, you guys, let me finish my bite. Well, you guys, we have come on our hour, and I want to let you know that, while you're in isolation, the narcissist is having a worse time because they don't get to have as much interaction. Unless people are willing to be on the phone with them, I suppose. They may be learning to do that, maybe learning to do video calls and such. And that's, that's probably the best that you're going to get with a narcissist anyway. These video calls, enjoy those. You can even enjoy those with a narcissist because they're lively and they're happy and they're whatever, they want to act as if they're having a crazy great time. And you can have a crazy great time with them, but then separate from them and have the rest of your day and have other relationships where you can actually connect with somebody. You can actually share your concerns, because you definitely don't want to share any concerns with a narcissist. You only want to have a good time, and that's it. That's their limit, right? You don't want to share with them any of your hardships or any of your concerns. That's something you want to share with a real friend. So you guys, I hope that this has been helpful. I hope that you realize that first of all, don't look over there. But if you do or have looked over there and you remember that the last thing you saw was them having a wonderful, happy time with their new supply, replace that image with what's the reality that you are aware of, what it's really like with the narcissist. Okay, you guys, there's no fantasy, wonderful, beautiful world with them. There just isn't. There's a great fun party with them for a time, but after that, it just turns to a nightmare. And you don't have to be there in that nightmare. So be grateful for that. Enjoy your time right now. Go out for a walk, get some sunshine, read a good book, watch some heartwarming movies, fill your mind with positive, good things, and just be grateful that you don't have to struggle along in isolation with a narcissist. And those of you who are in isolation with a narcissist, do what, I forget your handle, Isla or something like that. I'm sorry, but do what she says, that you put up your boundaries and don't give into their bad behavior. Let them know that they're not going to get a reaction from you when, Riss is who it was. Don't let them get the reaction to their bad behavior, so they don't get attention when they behave badly. And they'll adjust. They will. They'll just simply adjust and change their ways because they want to get a reaction from you. And if you only react when they're behaving well, and this is just like a child, if you're only going to react to them while they're behaving well, they're going to start behaving well more and more. And that's how you have to live with a narcissist. You have to have these boundaries. You can't react. You have to You have to be in control of their manipulation. Like, you can't give into it. So you guys, I hope you have a great day. I'm going to go have the rest of my breakfast, and I hope that you enjoyed seeing how French toast is made in our house, and have a great day. And I will see you next week.